Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town of Port Royal September 10th, 2025 council meeting here at the Yvonne C. Butler Council Chambers at 700 Paris Avenue in the beautiful Town of Port Royal, state of South Carolina. At 6:30, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Up first, we've got our Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone will stand, please. And Councilman Guerrero, if you could lead us in that, please.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Owens, invocation, please.
Father, we thank you for this day that you've granted unto us. We thank you for the business that we're about to partake in. We thank you for those that are under the sound of our voice, and we thank you for those whom we serve, that we will make the decisions that are in best interest of those whom we serve to make Port Royal continue to be a cool, coastal, and far from ordinary place to be. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right. First, we've got approval of some minutes. I've got minutes from the public hearing of August 6, 2025, minutes from the council workshop of August 6, 2025, minutes from the council meeting of August 13th, 2025. May I get a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Anyone see any corrections, additions, subtractions?
No, sir.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Okay, up next, we've got some presentations, some really good stuff we're excited about. Up first, oath of a new SRO officer, Mr. Coley Hebrard. How'd I do with that?
Return.
Hebert.
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 Returning.
Thank you, Council. I'm very happy to introduce one of our new officers, Coley Hebert. He is not only is going to be a new officer with us, but he's being assigned as an SRO to Bridges Preparatory. So not only are we so happy that we're getting SROs in our schools, but when we heard that Officer Coley was talking about coming over to Port Royal, one of our current SROs, which a lot of people know, Sergeant Rayner, who I consider the SRO of SROs, is just amazing, said, well, you got to get this guy over here because he's the guy I go to when I have questions about SRO issues. So to have the guru of the guru here in Port Royal, which is preparatory, is just fantastic. He's a new officer with us, but he's not a new officer. He's got over 28 years of law enforcement experience, 22 in a neighboring community, and 10 as an SRO. He is also an instructor in many classes like active shooter, craze, alert, which are the active shooter type classes for schools, businesses, things like that. He's also I want to get it right, Scoutmaster?
Scoutmaster for
for how long, like 11 years or something?
15 years.
15 years?
15 over there.
It's great. So he just brings a wealth of experience, a wealth of knowledge, and since word got around that he was coming here, I've gotten a lot of phone calls from council people, from residents, and everybody just saying, you really got a great guy here. So I didn't know how good he was until actually he signed on, so I'm really happy that he's here. We're going to do the oath of office for him, and if you would like to bring your family up, please, and introduce them.
Hey, Chief, real quick while we wait on that, kind of full circle, huh, Cody?
Yes.
Where you're going to go work with Eric Hayes and kind of where he started and how that relationship started. And Bridges Director of Security is probably the most excited guy in the room to know that he gets to work with Coley again. So, again, awesome addition, man. We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
Again, it's just one of those things that, we always look forward to that, and then it's here, and you're like, what are we doing right now? So it's really cool.
It's great. One of you like to hold the Bible. Would you like to? Okay, for your grandpa. And he's going to put his left hand on the Bible and raise his right hand. Now repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Coley Hebert,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I am duly qualified,
that I am duly qualified,
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
of this state,
of this state,
to exercise the duties of this office
to exercise the duties of this office
to which I have been appointed,
to which I have been appointed,
and that I will equally,
that I will equally,
fairly,
fairly,
impartially,
impartially,
and to the best of my ability,
and to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties thereof,
discharge the duties thereof,
and preserve, protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
of this state
of this state
and of the United States.
and of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. Welcome. My wife is going to pin the badge on.
Oh, knock her down.
I did not touch her.
She was excited.
My hands are on the badge.
She said after 28 years of doing this, she's finally getting to pin a badge on me.
It's not so easy.
It's not easy to do.
At least I didn't stick in.
You guys want to come up here for pictures? DC?
Family sit up here for this one. This is my wife Connie Hebert, my daughter Brittany Hebert, and my granddaughter Madeline. Wow.
Somebody take that picture.
They try and hide it.
Always high.
Always have
Always
to.
high.
Wait a minute.
Told her to do one at a time. So.
Ready? Ready? And 1, 2, 3. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Good job, man. Very excited.
Thank you, Lisa. Want to do the next part now?
So, really quick, before we get to our next presentation, and to reiterate what Chief said, so Officer Coley Hebert, I think he's gonna be great for that position. I know he is. He's got a real passion for kids. On Saturday, Councilman Ashmore and I were able to go over and see, he held a ceremony for two young men that got their Eagle Scouts pins. And if you know anything about Scouts, how hard that is to get and how hard it is to go through that. And you could just tell anytime you see him with his troop, with his kids, whether it's a flag ceremony or the Boy Scouts or Eagle Scouts, you can just, his passion for kids comes through. So having him as an SRO at a school that's just a perfect fit. So happy to have you here, sir. So thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Okay. All right. Up next, Historic Port Royal Foundation. Come on down.
All right. Come on. Got the team here?
Yes, sir.
Sounds great.
And again, this started out, it was, this is one of the most important organizations we have in town. It's, I consider this the Port Royal's museum. It is. It protects, it preserves our history, which is so important. We always talk about it all the time. Yeah, so we wanted to, Marcy reached out to me about kind of just having this presentation, but then also conversational too, to just kind of see, ideas, and I really appreciated that. They were just kind of checking in and saying, we just want to make sure we're being good stewards of the town's money, and we've got, kind of directives going forward. So we really appreciated that reaching out and everything y'all are doing so far. So with that, I'll turn it over to y'all.
All right. Introductory slide, just kind of standard, but I want you to look there. It's museum and visitor center. That is our vision. That's our president's vision, Marcy, and we're moving out smartly on that. Good military talk there.
All right.
And oh, by the way, if you recognize a little emblem on my chest here, it's Air Force birthday next Thursday. So come on out.
And so really quick for everyone, I know everyone in this room knows, but everyone watching home, where's this located?
This is located at 1634 Paris, but that's hard to find. So look for the coffee shop, have
Yes.
a coffee, come back to the back of the gravel parking lot. You'll see our big banner, you'll see our signs. And hopefully soon, as a result of this and some of the initiatives that Marcy's doing to get a grant, we'll have some big signs for the town. Right now, we have a small sign close to Parker's that says Port Royal, visit our shops, restaurants, and parks. And we want that sign to be about 10 times bigger and 10 times more noticeable.
Great.
That is initiatives that we would love to push through that grant if we get it. But the big point here is we're taking steps forward and we want to be your visitor center. So next slide, please. We're going to run down through this agenda basically from the past to the current to our future vision. Next slide. Okay, let's look at the past. The parent of this organization, the folks got together for the bicentennial in '76. Out of that grew the Historical Port Royal Foundation, And our mission is to protect, preserve, and promote the history of Port Royal. We do that mainly through our museum. We started that a long time ago in the Union Church. After that, a few years ago, we moved out of the Union Church, moved into our current location. Our museum, as we said, was at 1634 Paris, and we rent that facility at this point. So based on that past, we're moving out ahead. We have had a great group of volunteers since 1976, and this tradition continues. As the councilman said, to tell our story, we can't and couldn't do that without the support of the mayor, the town council, and the staff. So I want to give you all a thumbs up. You make it possible that we can do that. We are run on a volunteer-based organization. No one in our organization gets paid. The funds that the town helps us cover, the operating expenses, just running the museum, the rent, the utilities. We've got a lot of software programs that we run to keep track of our membership and to upgrade our displays and to we're right now working on taking all the materials we have, putting them, they are in fireproof safes, but we're organizing those so any researchers or anyone wants to come in and has a question, we should be able to, within 2 to 3 minutes, pull out the right folder with the right information. And all the kudos goes to Mike Jones on that. He has done an outstanding job. You all supported us at the Millet Mini Park rededication ceremony. Thank you for that. We put some of these funds into updating the information display there. We had a lot of help from Safe Harbor on updating the small park there. And we think that event came off very well, and we're looking forward to doing that in the future. Next slide. Over to you, Marcy.
All right, thanks. So as Ben mentioned, we're all volunteers. We have docents that are trained, and we need 12 docents, but right now we're at 6. And if you stand, I would appreciate it. We've got Dale, we've got Mike, and Will isn't here, but Charlie's going to be joining. And we just couldn't do it without our volunteers. We just got done putting together a training program for them. We've got 3 docents that are going to be joining us. Like I said, we want 12 because we want to be open Tuesday through Sunday, and we want a docent for each day and 2 on the weekends, and then some fill docents. The board, we've got Ben, and we've got Gail and Mike, and Janie joined us, and we have Karen Denise, who's not here. Our treasurer just recently passed, and so Rosie is going to be joining us as treasurer. Our membership, we rely on members for some of our funding also. Our membership is down a little bit, but we're going to be working to bolster that up. The museum had over 2,000 visitors in the last 11 months from 44 states and 7 countries. Wow. And you'll notice that I said the last 11 months. So the museum fell on hard times for a while, and we had to go dark. The museum went dark. And if it wasn't for Ben and Gail and Mike, I don't know where we would have been. I think the museum would have closed. But they really stood up to the plate, reopened everything. Ben worked really, really hard behind the scenes. I mean, there was just so many things that got dropped that had to be picked up and put in place again. And I think we're doing really, really well moving forward. So currently, we have the trained volunteers, and they meet people at the door, which is very different than other museums. Like usually you go in the museum and you're just walking around looking at things, you know, and maybe there's someone, you know, take your money for a gift. But our docents meet you right at the door, and they go, "Hi, how you doing? Where you from? Did you know that 7 flags have flown over Port Royal?" And then they would give you a spiel, and then you know, then kind of feel people out, because sometimes people don't want someone be talking the whole time. But, and then we usually start saying, hey, you know, do you need a place to go to dinner? Do you want some suggestions on what to do in Port Royal? And so we already have been acting as a visitor center. We just don't have the banner that says visitor center. We also have volunteer researchers and curators, and that's basically Ben and Mike. And they have been working really hard to put all these documents that have been saved for years and years into some protected covering and into fireproof file cabinets. And so they've been doing a lot. And then we've got events going on. We were on Softshell Crab Festival. We're going to be on the Oktoberfest. We're going to have an oyster roast in November. We've started Coffee and Conversation, and that's going well. And next week we start Third Thursdays, so that'll be a continuation of the porch parties. So we're working on that, and we're going to be building out the visitor center. So in the first room of the museum, we're going to take the first half and make that into a visitor center and then a kind of more of a retail area. So we'll have pamphlets and brochures from different businesses around. We're going to have a map that, you know, people can say, oh, here's this and here's that. And if you want to go to fish camp, it's right here. So we'll be all set for being a visitor center. Concerns we have, people have a hard time finding us. They drive in, if you're coming from Savannah and you're coming over the bridge, you drive in and you're tooling along and you see this beautiful Port Royal monument with flags and everything, and you go, oh, I'm coming into Port Royal, and you drive straight ahead. But if you are watching GPS and everything, you might turn and go down into historic Port Royal. And then if you're looking for the museum, there's a little tiny sign that's under a live oak that says museum. You'll see the cypress wetlands, and you'll maybe go through the cypress wetlands, and you'll look up and you'll see the museum up a hill, but there's a fence that blocks your way into getting up there. So we need a way to draw people to the museum. And I think the best way to do that is through signage both on Rebo and on Paris. And so we're trying to get money through the ATEX grant, and we're looking to you guys to help us with that. And I think it'd be good for not just us, but for the whole town. We are working on getting additional fundings through grants. Like I said, we applied for the ATEX grant. We want donations, we want memberships. We're just kind of pulling all that together right now. And then the space, we need some space. Right now, all of our research and cataloging and everything is done in the museum, right in the middle of the museum. So when people come up to the museum, it looks kind of like it's kind of like an office. So people walk up to the museum and they kind of walk through these bushes and up some steps, and then there's a glass door and they go. And then we go out, the docent goes out, no, it's the museum, come on in. So we just need some space. And then our storage space is, it doesn't have air conditioning, so we have to store everything in the museum. So that's really what we need. We're also concerned, like, what happens if Harbor Village goes away? You know, where could we go after that? And so that's one thing that Kevin and I wanted to talk about today. Next.
Nothing better that says 501c3 than grants, especially ATEX. So first of all, again, council, mayor, Van, everyone, thank you so much for being so supportive of this. We think that it adds a lot to our community, and there's a great combination when we come together for the visitor center and the museum. It's just a natural together. As Marcy mentioned just now all of the concerns. One way to hit some of the concerns is through the ATEX grant. And thank you, Kevin, for writing a letter in support of this, because to show that we're all working together and that we have an important place in the community with the visitor center as well as a museum, that increases our chances on this ATEX grant. What Marcy talked about is how can we hit some of those concerns. These are the bullets of some of the things that we did as line items on the grant. We've already turned the grant in. The first bullet is hire consultants to advise online marketing abilities, concepts for the new visitor center, retail shop, and assist in integrating us into community and historic organizations. And anytime you write on a grant, hire consultants, I know everyone sees dollar signs, like, are we talking lots of money? We are not. Our line item on consultants is not our largest line item by any means, but we do feel that we need to be good stewards of money, and we need to educate ourselves, and we need to bring a consultant in to give us some ideas. What does a visitor center look like in the space that we have? Who will we serve? What pamphlets will we have? So we wanted to make sure that we did educate ourselves, and that's why a consultant in that area is listed. Signage, Marcy has already referred to that. We need signage on Rebo, but on both sides, coming and going. Hopefully maybe down by the Spanish Moss Trail, but that would be somewhere where the town and members would collaborate with us with the money that we are hoping to get from this grant for the best possible positions on Rebo. Not just on Rebo, though, but we also want to create signage on Paris Avenue so that when you drive into the village, you are directed to other things in this village. And one of the things that we've already seen with just a few short weeks of coffee and conversation, when we've shared ideas and brought this before visitors at Coffee and Conversation, a lot of people had ideas about what signage should look like. I think that's an amazing piece that's coming out of coming together as a community in support of this. So I'm going to give Carl Joy a shout out. He came to a Coffee and Conversation, and as we discussed this, he said, well, why couldn't we have a standing kiosk like they have in the malls that say, you are here? And then you are here and you are directed to the museum behind us at Harbor, or you are here and you have a map. You go down to the businesses. You have the restaurants. So we would like to be the signage to be creative and also innovative and eye-catching. One of our speakers at Coffee and Conversation was Katie at Windhorse, and she brought the map that she's already developed among the businesses in Port Royal. And so all of us collaborating together could take advantage, we hope, of the money that we know we're going to get for this signage. So we need the signage not just for Rebo, but that is very important, but also for Paris Avenue. And then if you look at the upgrade current museum to include create a visitor center and retail area within the museum. And a visitor center in our museum is not like a visitor center in major metropolitan areas. We have a very small museum, as you know. You walk in, but the entrance would be our visitor center on either side. You would have some type of signage, you would have places for the pamphlets, you would have informational pieces, and you would have things from our local businesses that would be included in that, as well as Beaufort and surrounding areas. The next thing says to build a ramp for wheelchair accessibility and enlarge the front porch. And as you know, living in a historic community, ADA compliance is not easy, but it is necessary. And it's very hard to make that happen without being conscious and making a point to serve people that have not perfect mobility. So that is a line item in our grant, and for us, what we would like to see is, hold on, I've lost it. Oh, no, I got it. I've got it in front of me with a lot of notes. We were going to build the porch out. We were also going to make the ramp. We have an existing ramp, but it is not in compliance. It needs to be worked out a little more. And also, we would like a paved path from the wetlands to the museum, or from the museum to the wetlands. That would be a smooth paved path. It is not steps with signage. And there is a place from the wetlands that it could come up. It would be wheelchair accessible. It would be people on scooters, people that would need special ideas and help for mobility. We have included that in the grant. We need, because this is 2025 Port Royal, we would like to expand and revive our online presence. Also, we included printed marketing materials to better market Port Royal, the Visitor Center, and the museum. And then we want to automate the collecting of visitor statistics. The museum already does an excellent job, in my opinion, of keeping data, collecting zip codes, making sure they know who has visited, who has not. And all of that adds revenue, and we need that for data for future grants, for anything that we are requesting. They want to know what kind of data you have, what it looks like, and Marcy's already given you a couple of figures. Well, we would like to automate that, and that's included in our grant. Okay, where the end of 2026? Well, the end of 2026, we hope that we are turning in all of those things we accomplished on that ATEX grant. That's our goal. We hope to collaborate with the council and the town staff and the town and all of our businesses to continue those expectations of what we have to continue in the future, just to build and grow. We want to collaborate with other 501c3s like the Cypress Wetlands and the Spanish Moss Trail so that we can all kind of work together representing this community. And increase visitors, volunteers, and members. We put a 20% increase in there, and I think that's very doable for us. We have just with Coffee and Conversation received docents. We've received more members. We have also, I think we received a lot of members when we did the last festival, which was the first time. So that's a very doable number. I hope to exceed that. Then we will continue videoing interviews with Port Royal longtime residents to be available on the website. And I think that's something that's already been in place. I think Mike and several of Ben, they've had conversations and videoed, and that's already in place, and that will go on our website. When you ask for money from any group of people, whether it's the town of Port Royal or the ATAX, all grantors want to know what's your part in it, what's your responsibility, because you cannot be sustained on your grant alone. So we hope to have and plan to have these 3 events, which are money-making events that cost very little on our side, but bring in revenue. Not only do they bring in revenue, they're amazing PR, and they help build community. So our oyster roast, a 5K, and we're going to bring the 2026 Christmas home tour. Those are our 3 money-making, we hope, events that we will have to help generate revenue for us. And then when I saw the end of 2030, my goodness, 2030, I hope I'm standing up here telling you what we've done in 2030. It says we're going to reapply for the ATEX grant, and I think that's a given that we should absolutely constantly do that. 30% is our figure that we hope to be going for. The last 2 things are, well, the third bullet is actually something that we hope to build into, where we can have a traveling exhibit or display or history model that we can take into the elementary schools around Beaufort County to share and explain the history of Port Royal and surrounding areas, as well as assisted livings, because that's something that would be appreciated there, we would be able to do, and they can accommodate things like that. So that's a future goal for 2030 and maybe even before that. The Visitor Center is just almost a no-brainer, and speaking with Van one day when we were here, that all kind of came into a natural progression. The docents are already a visitor center. They are the ones that have information, but to have an official name and funding is really important for us with the museum and Port Royal. Now, it's time for y'all. Do you have any questions or suggestions?
I got a couple questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Well done, and appreciate y'all, all your efforts and what you do in telling the story of Port Royal. I was at Coffee and Conversation last week, and I know it came up there, and but I wanted to just kind of address it, and I had some questions for you, specifically about creating a paved path between Cypress Wetlands and the museum. What type of drainage consideration has been taken into account for that? And also, what discussions have y'all had with the owners of Harbor Village, and what was the outcome?
I'm going to talk, and then I'm going to pass it on.
And I will add that we had no overrun.
On this time or before? Okay. So we have nothing concrete. That is also where we would hope the town would be a part of that with us and have some conversations. Noah, did you want to speak to anything on that? Oh, thank you, Noah. That would be the best part.
We're talking drainage now, the first question?
No.
Or both questions?
I think it's,
Well,
well,
paved
I'll
path,
speak to what I
drainage, and
looked
then
at.
the
I
ownership
can
of the
take
Harbor
the
Village.
baton back, but I looked at a location that Marcy said might be better than where the stairs were originally proposed. So what she was suggesting was that it basically go behind the Griddle and Grits, the schoolhouse, so that it's less of a severe slope. But there would definitely be drainage concerns because it would create sheet flow down that paved path, so that would need to be looked at by an engineer before that was done. So that's all I have. I just did an eyeball test and walked it once.
I got you. So it's a little bit more in depth than just, hey, let's put this.
Yes, okay. So we have not approached the Keiths yet. We know that Mr. Keith is passed.
Sure.
And his children own it now. You know, we wanted to make sure it was okay with you guys, because part of the property is on town land, before we had approached them. And we were hoping maybe you would help us approach them.
Yeah.
Okay. So they've not been approached yet?
No.
Okay. But they've not been
And we
approached?
don't have the money yet either. We're just-
Right.
yeah.
And then there's gonna need to be an engineer, so it's not gonna be, let's just put this in, walk away from it. We gotta have an engineer
Yeah.
kinda look
Yep.
at it, so it's done right.
Yep.
Okay. That's fine. And I gotta give,
Oh, just 1 minute.
I think that on the line item, we did request money with those things in mind. We did put that so that we knew that it wasn't, we're just not going to pour concrete. There's a whole lot to that.
Yeah.
So that was a higher line item for us. We may or may not get the money. But if that were to happen, then we would like to pursue that.
gotcha, okay. And I just gotta give props to Carl Joy for his creative,
I know.
right, his creative flow there. Come, hey, how about just a kiosk there?
That's an awesome idea.
Suggested, yeah, they picked yellow, right. But I thought that was good. I'm glad to see Carl getting involved in the community like he always does.
He has been back, but that was a great idea.
Yeah, I think so.
Creative
Really
guy.
liked it.
Cool. That's all questions I had.
I'll, so really quick, that path from the wetlands, thanks for hitting on that, because that, I've always thought would be a great idea. I thought it's been brought up in the past, and I thought that there were some issues with the property owner at that time, and so, but, you know, anything we can do from the town, whenever you're walking on the wetlands, it would be great if you could be on the wetlands and then walk right up there, and then just have that kind of synergy of right there. But that's always been a goal, but, you know, you're right, we gotta get them on board with it. It is their
believe-
parking lot.
Yeah, I would believe it would take a joint.
So, I've always thought that was great.
We're willing participants and expressed that 2 years ago, but the property owner had no interest in
Yeah,
allowing
so
access.
we can try again. Yeah, we could try again with that. Visitor center is really smart to kind of start positioning that now, because as this town grows, as this marina gets built, you're just gonna have more people coming in that have never been here before. And Port Royal, I heard about Port Royal, and that visitor center to give that guide to those restaurants is really smart instead of just a museum. So I thought that's really great that we're doing that. Let me ask you, with the ATEX, or is it just one sign? What do you, if you get the grant, is it, how many signs are we talking? However far you can stretch it.
If we
Okay.
get the money, we ask for 5,000.
Okay, gotcha. So
And we got that
however-
money from Van, that amount from Van.
So that might get one sign, two signs, just
Yeah, we
whatever
don't
we
know.
get, but
Yeah.
we're just gonna stretch it. I gotcha.
Right.
Okay. Because, yeah, there was, you know, talked about signs in different places, so, okay, so that comes from there.
Wouldn't that be a great place for the other two 501c3, Cypress Wetlands and Spanish Moss Trail, to go together for signage
Yeah,
into?
absolutely.
I would suggest that there may be a possibility of signage along Rebo Road that would be more general in nature. It could be funded by the state, that would direct you, much like we have Sands Beach. You know, it's a kind of
Yeah.
it's not ornate, but it at least does that. And those may actually have minimal cost, at least to get the ball rolling. It wouldn't dip into these funds. And, you know, maybe we just talk to DOT or Shannon.
Okay.
Oh, that's a great idea.
What are the, currently, what are the revenue streams you got? So memberships,
We,
events, donations?
we have very little.
I gotcha, okay. I know it wasn't much, but I just didn't know what.
We
the-
have you.
Yes, and then, yes.
But we are planning events. This year, we kind of took it easy. We're just trying to get back on our feet, and so we're kind of low-key, but next year, we're going to do a run, and we're going to do a home tour.
Yeah.
Gotcha, no, those are great. I mean, that's one of the things you're asking about going forward, that I've seen over the years, is the events, I think, are really amazing that y'all have done. That brings attention to it, and so I hope y'all just keep those up, keeping the coffee and conversations, the third Thursdays, the runs, the oyster roast, all that, just the more of that, I think, the better.
So we had a great idea for the Oktoberfest is, I can't remember his name, but the guy who does Forrest Gump with the.
His Forrest Gump.
Yes, and so we were thinking we could rent him and do a photo booth.
Cool, yeah, he would love it. He
Because
lives
then
here.
you could send it, you could send the pictures out for like
Yeah.
Christmas cards or whatever,
It's one of those, yeah,
but it's, you
there's no
know.
wrong answer.
We've got a lot more
Yeah.
Lieutenant Dans around here, so you might.
And, so, have there been any conversations with the museum and, like, the city of Beaufort's and theirs, and kind of, I don't know, just encourage that, just kind of, you know, what do you guys, I know they've been around for a while, just where do they go for money, you know, sometimes in that nonprofit world, it can get a little competitive, we don't want to let them know about our grant or that, but, you know, maybe just try to learn from them, and I share your concern about the future of what happens if that place goes away, because you're right, we don't own it, y'all don't own it, someone else owns it, and so that could go away. Space is always kind of an issue, because the museum has to be in the village. I mean, it doesn't make sense being anywhere else. So we talking about finding a place? We talking about a new build? I mean, all that changes the cost. As far as a new building, I mean, I can just be honest with you, that's gonna be, like, the town can't just come out for that.
No,
Like,
no,
that's a heavy
we're
lift.
not.
I've currently been on, so I'm on the board, Help of Beaufort and YMCA. Both of those are building new buildings. What Y's doing, they're building out in Hardyville, their new YMCA, and then Help of Beaufort just had the ribbon cutting with their building. So it is doable. I don't know if you've spoken with Lori from Help of Beaufort that runs it. From what I've seen on those boards is they really, and the town can help in any way we can. You just got to, like, one, there has to be the goal. So are we talking about a new building? My head just went, what about the old, what about the red house behind Jefferson Commons on Ninth Street?
We actually toured that building,
Yeah. It
that
needs a
house.
little work.
Not all.
It needs a lot of work, but it's really, we looked at it last year.
Yeah, so-
For a future vision, it's really not compatible
Gotcha.
for a museum. The second floor, the stairs are just so steep that I would imagine just to have people working in an office on the second floor, you'd have to put in a new set of stairs externally. The slope on them is something crazy.
You may
So-
also want to tap into the Low Country Foundation, Low Country Foundation, Community Foundation. That's over in Hilton Head. Yeah, yes, community low, yeah.
Another option would be
I mixed it up
the
with it,
B and
'cause
B, you know, the pink B and B, because it would be nice if it was right on Paris.
Yes, absolutely. And then, I mean, the way that
But I-
those two organizations have done it is just a huge, but like I said, right now, we don't really have the goal in mind, but a fundraiser and just a big multi-year push. And, you know, you get your thermometer and you color the red line as, you know, put the goal on it and mark it up. And those two organizations, that's how it's worked. And you sell, you know, you can have this section, you know, you can sell name and sponsorships and have your stuff in it and fundraisers. But that, in the town, I'm sure would be happy to contribute with that and help out any way we can. But somehow we've got to get just a big fundraiser push and make that a priority and just keep that out
And
there.
I'm tossing things out here also, being that Paris Island is in Port Royal, and that's a part of our history. And they have a museum also.
Oh, it's a nice
And I
one.
think, you know, with the people coming through our, being channeled or funneled through our visitor center, will enhance, you know, their operation over there, and for having some type of collaboration with them, because you never know what type of resources that they may be able to offer you in promoting.
We do have interactions between Paris Museum and
Great. But no, I mean, I think overall, I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think you guys are doing a great job, you know?
Yes.
And so just continue on with that. I mean, I don't hear anybody from up here complaining about what's going on, and everyone's really excited about what y'all are doing, so.
Except for Mike.
Yeah. So we got it, so I think y'all just, I mean, y'all are very hardworking, dedicated, creative people, clearly. And so, I mean, y'all are doing a great job. I think you're all in the right direction. Just know we're here to support any way we can, you know, and so we've got your back all the way, whatever we can do. So,
so if we do get the funding for signage, you guys are open to put, I mean, we would start talking about, does it make sense to have it on Rebo or?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, with the money we have, is it on?
These folks right there.
Yeah.
yeah, we absolutely, we'd love to be helping
And the staff.
Yeah, so yes, yes.
For that.
I don't know, it could be 10 times, it's gonna have to meet the sign.
10 times the size.
We have goals.
But no, yeah, we have, if you receive that grant, please let us know, and we would love to be in the
Okay.
room working on that with you.
And one thing we want to say is, thank y'all for continuing, even with your hiccup a year ago, to pick it up and to continue and get where you are today. You want to be proud of yourself.
Thanks.
For real.
I mean, y'all have
These
done a
guys.
great job,
Yeah.
and look at you've got a future. I mean, you're looking for goals, and that's all we ever ask of y'all. And I'm excited because I keep hearing this stuff, and I'm going, God, a year ago, we asked for that. Thank you. Thank you for doing that, and we'll always support you. This council is here to help because you are the ones that are promoting us in this town. And so please keep us involved in it. We can't always make the coffees on Wednesday, but doesn't mean that we don't care and doesn't mean that we don't want to participate. So please, keep us informed.
All right, and then if you have ideas of things that we could do, like events, let us know.
Well, and you let us know too how it's going, because I've seen organizations before, you don't want to you know, you kind of, if you do too many events, it's like, well, I'll catch them next time, or, you know, there's that. So there is a diminishing returns point with that I've seen with groups. Quick question, side note, because I had someone ask me about this, and I figured, they asked me today, and I was like, this is where Fort Royal Foundation is in front of me. If someone finds something that they think might be like an artifact, like they find a musket ball, or they find something, what is the step they do to go through next to get that verified, certified?
Yeah. So we have an official process
Okay.
that the museum and the Historic Foundation has had for years.
Okay.
We ask them to bring it to us. We will evaluate it
Okay.
and determine whether it's really Port Royal focused,
Mm-hmm.
preserve, promote the history of Port Royal. If it's Port Royal focused, then we'll sit down with the folks and say, is this a loan to us, or is this a permanent gift to us? So we have an official process to do that. And even if they can't give it to us, if there are documents or old photos, we can scan those in and give them right back. And that's one thing I want to encourage as we have our little tent at the Oktoberfest, is we want to really put a sign up there and say, we'll take your historical information, especially that if you've got old photos from great-great-grandpa that was in Port Royal in 1895, we'll take that photo, we'll treat it with a lot of respect, we'll scan it, and give it right back to you.
Great.
So we'll take all
That's
that.
good. I had someone ask me, they have found what they think's a musket ball, and they were asking me, what do I do with this? And I said, well, ask the Port Royal Foundation.
And on that note, we need to get climate-controlled storage, because everything that we do take in has to be in that little, and so we're kind of bursting at the seams, and if we could just get some climate-controlled storage, that would.
Are they building
really-
storage around here?
What?
I'm joking.
No, no.
Who's building storage around here?
But if we could, that would really help. So Van, if you have any ideas,
Van's got a lot of ideas.
yeah.
Good.
Great.
All right.
Well, thank you. Hope
Thank
that
you.
that was helpful. It
Thank
was
you.
very informative for me, and so, like I said, it helps us just feel confident in how we're spending town money, and you guys are doing a great job, so.
Thank
Well,
you.
let me just mention, the money that we get from the town, we spend that just keeps us going for expenses and rent and everything like that. So, we need we need seed money to start some events.
Okay.
So, we may come to you, I mean, not this year, but we may come to you and ask for some seed money for events.
What's our current give?
40.
40,000?
So,
So that's increased each year?
A little bit. It's
it
been
went
steady.
down this year because
It
we
went
weren't
down?
doing events.
Yeah.
I got you.
So we asked for less.
Yeah, because I thought it was 60 at one
Yeah,
point.
but we
It was
wouldn't
60 and then it went down, yeah.
Okay, okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So up next, council briefing.
Before I get started, I wanted to bring the chief back up real quick. I think he wanted to make a quick announcement for you guys, let you know about something that's going on.
Very quick. I just want to let you know, I asked the town manager for a couple minutes. I wanted to recognize and kind of let you know that you're not going to be seen in DC for 10 weeks, starting October 29th. He's been accepted to the FBI National Academy down in Quantico, Virginia. For those of you that don't know what it is, less than 1% of all law enforcement in the world, not just the United States, get a chance, an opportunity, and get accepted to the academy. So it's very prestigious. He is the first Port Royal police officer ever to go to the National Academy. He had to take a physical fitness test to get in, which is very stringent. They don't mess around. You miss it by 1 second, you're gone. You're not in. He's tested while he's there. It's all master level classes for 10 weeks. He actually attends the actual FBI Academy down in Quantico. If you've ever seen Silence of the Lambs, where you see them running around and stuff like that, that's where he's going to be, with agents and with other law enforcement professionals. So I'm very proud that he was accepted. I think it's great for Port Royal. And if he does make the physical fitness, which he will, being a Marine,
I see it every morning.
he gets the very prestigious yellow brick. It's an acknowledgement of, it's a little over 6.1 miles of an obstacle course, and it's all timed. Go under barbed wire, you run, you climb hills, all this stuff is pretty amazing. If he makes it, he gets awarded with the yellow brick at the end. So when you come into the police department, in about 12 weeks from now, expect to see that yellow brick on his desk.
Absolutely.
We got military back day.
But I just wanted to say congratulations to him and let you know where he's going to be for the next 10 weeks.
Congrats. That's big time. That's big time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That is super cool.
Congratulations.
All right. Yes, sir.
pressure.
No doubt, no
Hey,
doubt.
we got the confidence in you.
Okay. Council briefing.
Yeah, I know Brooke probably covered it. Just a few items. Obviously, you probably noticed that the Naval Hospital sidewalk is starting construction. I did speak with somebody at the SCDOT, and they're expecting completion by the end of October. So pretty excited about
Wow,
that.
yeah.
Awesome.
The two speed humps, obviously, were constructed on West Paris Avenue. They're not striped yet. The asphalt has secured, then they will be painted, but the signs are up. So please don't hit those at full speed. They are the right size. So anyways, no Dukes of Hazzard issues anymore. We are looking at other potential locations, just keeping that in mind. We're going from place to place. Late today, I put in the folder a couple of the Drayton speed analysis studies for y'all to take a look at it. We're trying to figure out if it is any more in compliance with what the DOT is looking for us to lower the speed limit on Drayton, so that we could do an install of the speed humps there. So we'll take a look at that.
That would be great. I got it.
Yeah. So we're
Asked
pretty
about it
excited
on
about
Saturday.
that. Trying to think if there was anything specific other than what was covered last week. Other than we've got some grant submittals that we're working on. And you'll hear about a couple of those a little bit later on. But any questions?
No, I just want to point out, thank you for making the repair to the pothole at Midtown between the bank and Inmark.
Yeah.
It was actually cut out a large
Right.
square there and
Yeah.
fix that, and hopefully that holds.
Yeah, that, we're looking at a complete replacement, and just as a follow-up to that as well, I know you've had some questions about Brinkley Court. We did get good pricing on that, and that's going to be scheduled as well. They had some drainage issues. It was a private drainage pond. We were able to get it cleaned out anyways, to help with the drainage issues they were having, and then we'll be resurfacing Brinkley Court shortly.
Great.
Well done, thank you.
I'll add something, so just so everybody knows and keep them in the loop, we had a great meeting last Thursday with Safe Harbor. As you know, our new settlement agreement requires us to meet with them every 3 months, and so they're in compliance with that. We met, they came down here, it was their chief of operations, their attorney, 2 of their planners came with them. It was just gonna be the chief of operations and Colby, he's been here before, and their attorney. And then the night before, he was just like, I'm bringing other people with me, kind of all hands on deck. So came down with 2 planners. One of them is more planning the marina water side, and they got the planner that's kind of working on the land side. We met with them it was myself, Van, Noah, our attorney, those attorneys. But no, we had our attorney, Councilman Ashmore, Mayor Pro Temp, Mary Beth Hayward were in there for a little bit of time. We had a great meeting. As I said, they got there at 2. We were here till 4:30, so we spent a couple hours with them, drove around the property. Everything's moving forward. I mean, they are set on achieving their goals that were in the settlement agreement, and that was the point of that, was to protect the town. So the next thing on that is a master plan due to the town by the end of the year. 6 months after that, we had second reading in June, so we plan on having a master plan from them by the end of the year. We're going to meet again with them 6 weeks from now. That's about halfway point on their recommendation. They brought that up. They were like, how about we meet at a halfway point? We can show you what we've got so far. So then when we can show things later on, it's just a cold call, cold showing of what we're working on. So meeting with them again another 6 months. They're really excited. Again, they still have their permit for the marina. They plan on getting started on that once this phase of, you got to get a master plan together first. And that's what they're working on, and they, intend to have it to us by, like I said, they are not going to, they're going to follow their obligations according to the settlement agreement, and that requires a master plan at the end of the year. So they had some great ideas. They're really on. And just to keep in mind, to set those expectations, that master plan of what they're going to be showing us will just be from basically fish camp down. They still plan on what they would call divesting themselves from the residential area, so that's everywhere behind Shell Ring. They're going to sell that off to someone that builds homes. They recognize and they tell us we don't develop neighborhoods. We've never done that. We don't plan on starting that. So they're going to peel that off, divest themselves from that. So we will not have a master plan on that because they have not sold that yet. They said they're kind of narrowed their talk down to these kind of handful of guys and girls they're talking to. And once that is eventually divested, we'll start to see some plan for that residential for whoever that builder is. Again, the good thing about that is, if you remember, part of the settlement agreement is it can't be more than 15% rental properties up there, single-family homes. There's a Spanish Moss Trail going through the whole property too. So whoever gets it and whoever buys it and whoever develops it is bound by the parameters that we just got into the development agreement in the PUD. So that's all good, but we do want to pass that along. I know people have asked about Safe Harbor. It is our continue to foster relationships with port developers, a must-do up there. And so I thought, have a great meeting last last Thursday for about 2.5 hours. We met with them. Again, we rode around the property on golf carts and looked at stuff, and I thought it was productive. If Van or Noah or anybody wants to add anything to it.
No, I just want to say, yeah, we've heard a lot from the community, and that's facts. That's not misinformation. That's facts. So know that.
Yeah. No, and then I'm like I said, I'm excited that, again, we'll meet with them in another 6 months. We'll have another update for everybody, and then, start to see kind of formalized plans for what that property is going to be. And, even just, everybody keep in mind, master plans, you submit plans, anyone that's built anything, there's still little changes that'll be made, but at least that'll start to give everybody kind of a goalpost of the direction we're headed. The marina is going to be the marina. They've told us that is already planned, permitted. I mean, there's maps out there for that have been put in the paper. So you can see what the marina is going to look like, but all of us want to know, well, what's on the land side. And so that's what we're working on now with them. They know the slip capacity. They have a permit approved, so that the marina is already is planned out. So we know what that's going to look like, but now it's what's everything else going to look like. And so they're working on it. Again, they had their planners here. Mary Beth made a point to tell them, better have a promenade right across that water line. So, and I think he said, you don't have to worry about that.
That will be there.
Yeah, exactly. So we reiterated the concerns of the town and what, the vision is, and they get it. They just, again, are a very large company, and it's apparent on us just to make sure that they don't forget about us, because we might be a small town, but we're the best town. So, they got to pay attention to us and work with us. And I will say, again, I thought it went really well. So I wanted to let everybody know that, because it wasn't in the briefing, and it was just a meeting we had in council last Thursday. So those, did we want to mention Jefferson Commons at all?
Oh, yeah. Based upon the discussions we had previously, we approached the owners of Jefferson Commons about utilizing 2 of their spaces in some sort of incubator capacity, whether it be arts, food, small businesses. So they are proposing a 2-year lease on 2 of these spaces in that building. And then it's basically up to us to create a framework of what we'd like to see operating in there, and with the intent of bringing vitality to this end of Paris Avenue by, I guess, more or less creating an environment for startup businesses or artists to give them the space or some incentive to start here. And,
Is that a vote? Is that because I think council's on board with it, so. it's
right.
just
When I would come back to y'all formally in a month with the structure of the leases.
Okay.
And obviously, those leases don't take effect until after the first of the calendar year. So we'll be utilizing approximately 50% of that $42,000 that y'all had set aside for economic development activities.
And so, just to kind of give a little, what Van's talking about right there, because we did have, our last council meeting, we had an executive session, if you looked on there, to discuss a lease property, and that's what he's talking about. And what this stems from, if just, more transparency. No, if you could hold the could do sign up real quick, that's down on the ground.
You got like John Cusack.
I know, right? If you look on could do's, we've got, and one of our goals, and we reiterate this, we do our retreat every year, and we make these goals, and I want us at the end of this year to look at all of them and put checks on them or not, and really take them serious. So if you look right here on a could do, develop strategies to make Paris Avenue a key destination. Under a must do, promote local businesses by exploring incentives to stimulate economic activity in the downtown area. If you remember a couple months back, we were giving about $42,000 a year to the Beaufort County Economic Development Corporation. We love that corporation, and they do a great job. Their focus is more on manufacturing, aerospace, big picture, commerce parks, whereas in Port Royal, we're looking at how do we attract restaurants, retails, that Main Street activity that we want to see down Paris Avenue. So the Jefferson Commons is the building right here where Carl Joe Apex used to be, and the core collective Pilates. We had found out that they were leaving, and she had 2 spots. And so she's leaving. She's staying in Port Royal. It's a good story. She grew her business, and so now she's going to go over to right by Carolina Tavern. She's probably going to love the plug I'm giving her. And now she's got 1 big space. So instead of 2 little spaces, now she's got 1 big one. And when we found out those 2 spaces were coming open, space is really difficult to come by on Paris Avenue. So we started talking, what could we do to achieve these goals? And it just so happened that essentially to lease those spots was about exactly the amount of money that we pulled back from the Economic Development Corporation. So we had that money sitting there. We're not having to spend any extra money. And we can take those spaces, and we talked about turning them into some sort of incubator where one's kind of focused on local artists, where they can either use that place to create, show art, have a rotation of people coming throughout the year using it. Hopefully they're promoting it, they're bringing in their supporters, the people that like their art, they're coming in there, they're bringing people. You've got Windhorse there, you've got Nuances there, we've got the restaurants right there. And then the other space we looked at and talked about, how do we create some sort of maybe small business, community space, some sort of something for restaurants. We're still working out those details, and that's what we're going to do for the next, till the end of the year, because those leases don't start into the beginning of January. But the goal of this council is to start 2026 and have a, Port Royal artist and small business initiative, and really have something that we push out there with a goal of attracting more feet onto Paris Avenue, more people walking around, more people going to places. And so that's where we're at. We're just trying to think of creative ways and seize on opportunities as we see them. So when you hear us talking about Jefferson Commons and that going forward, I just want to just put that all out there, that's what we're working on. So was that a good summary?
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else?
No, you covered it, thank you.
Cool. That's it from the briefing. Safe harbor, and then, small business and artist incubator initiatives. Exciting stuff. All right, up next, we have public comment. I do not have any public comment cards, so we'll move right into first readings. Up first reading, 2025-15, an ordinance to authorize the town manager to convey excess real property to facilitate construction of sidewalks within the town, described as Beaufort County Tax District 110, map 10, parcels 145A and 138A, 1010 14th Street, 100 feet. There we go. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Get a second?
Second.
Any discussions, comments?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great. Up next is 2025-16, an ordinance to rezone approximately .56 acres of real estate described as Beaufort County Tax District 110, map 10, parcels 335 and 336 located in Beaufort County, South Carolina, to be rezoned from T5 Main Street to T4 Neighborhood Center, open, rezone of 1633 Paris Avenue. So over here behind the Chef Frank's.
Correct.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussions? I believe this passed Planning Commission unanimously with recommendation.
Yes.
Okay. Any comments from council?
No, I covered last week.
Yeah. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. Second reading, 2025-11, an ordinance amending the business license ordinance of the town of Port Royal to update the class schedule as required by Act 176 of 2020. Man, you speak to this for just a second?
Yeah, there was standardization of the business license ordinance across the state of South Carolina. And as part of that standardization, municipalities are required to update their rate tables and any other items that are necessary on an annual basis. So this ordinance keeps us in compliance by updating our schedule.
All right, I'll entertain a motion. We approve 2025-11.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. 2025-12, an ordinance to amend ordinance 87-62, chapter 15, section 1520, drinking, possessing alcohol beverages in public of the town code of ordinances, and adopt an amended ordinance pertaining to the regulation and possession of drinking, possessing alcoholic beverages in public spaces. We've talked about it a few times, but Van, if you...
Yeah, the previous iteration of the ordinance had some very specific percentages relative to what was in the alcohol. I mean, it was like 5% or less, I guess, if you were drinking Miller Lite, you were legal. But now it's basically if you're drinking any sort of open container in public, you're subject to the open container ordinance, regardless of the percentage of the alcohol in your drink.
So, I'll entertain a motion that we approve 2025-12. Can you get a second?
Second.
Yeah, my only discussion, like Marcy asked a question last time, is this going to change things? Like, can we still have wine at street music? Of course. Festivals, of course. We're still, that doesn't change anything. It just clarifies, it doesn't make the law where you can or can't drink. It doesn't change anything like that. It just clarifies it. It makes it a little bit cleaner for our officers when they're dealing with those types of situations. So, With that being said, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, the ayes have it. Up next, 2025-13, an ordinance annexing to the town of Port Royal approximately 8.48 acres of real estate located in Beaufort County, described as Beaufort County Tax District 100, map 34, parcel 20, located at 615 Broad River Drive. I believe this planning commission,
Unanimous.
unanimous support?
Yes.
Yes. No? I'll entertain a motion, we approve 2025-13.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Any comments or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Up next, this is a zoning ordinance for that exact same property, 2025-14, an ordinance to zone approximately 8.48 acres of real estate located in Beaufort County, described as Beaufort County Tax District 100, map 34, parcel 20, in Beaufort County, South Carolina, to be zoned as T4 Neighborhood Center. Open. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Good.
Second.
Any comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. That's it for ordinance votes. Up next, we've got some resolutions. Resolution 9-25, a resolution committing the town of Port Royal to providing a local match for a municipal association of South Carolina Big Ideas grant and following its procurement policy when securing services and products with grant funds. Noah, if you could please, I know we spoke about it last time, give us a little, what is the big idea?
Yeah, so the Municipal Association has a program called the Impact Fund, and one of the categories is the Big Idea Grant, which is funding up to $100,000 with a 5% local match for creative and innovative ideas, particularly for innovative use of public space. And so we put together a concept plan for the intersection of Smilax and Narcissus, which proposes a small neighborhood traffic circle and the creation of a passive pocket park in that unimproved area of the right-of-way where all of the trees are currently. Anything that I really want to highlight? I think that there's a distinction between the term roundabout and traffic circle. The circle is referring to the island that you see in the center of the plan. This is not creating necessarily a roundabout. Yes, cars will maneuver around it, but it's not an expansion of pavement. It doesn't channel vehicles a certain direction, so there won't be those splitter islands at every approach point to the circle. It's a traffic calming device, so it's a mountable curb area around the perimeter of the circle, and then plantings in the middle of it that are slightly vertical, so that there's that vertical visual obstruction for when a driver is coming into the area, that they see that and they know I need to slow down and be cautious as I come through this intersection. One of the things that we're looking at particularly is the driveway access for the neighboring residents. So there's 2 driveways that are adjacent to it and one that is proposed for the future. So we're keeping those in mind. We want to make sure that the circle is large enough to calm traffic, but small enough that folks who live right in that intersection have the ability to maneuver their boats with trailers. School buses are able to get through there. I'm not sure if there's a route, but if there is, we'll have to look at the turning radius for the school buses and that kind of thing with final design. And then on the park side, on the concept plan, all of those larger trees are existing trees that we would plan to retain as long as they're healthy. The brown area on the point is right there is a curb extension. So the green area is what's currently unimproved. The area that's brown right there on the point is paved, and that turn radius from Narcissus turning right onto Smilax is so wide, not to mention turning left off of Narcissus onto Smilax coming from Royal Palms, that you can fly through there unobstructed with no fear that you're going to make a incorrect movement and cause some damage. So narrowing that down a little bit while still leaving enough radius as far as distance from the circle to that curb extension is key to continue to calm the traffic. And then the rest of the park is still very conceptual. We know we want a path connection through there. Not sure about that exact footprint. The brown square that you see initially was an additional gravel seating area with some benches. We also threw around the idea of a community garden plot, which would probably need to be raised beds, just based on what I've heard about the soils in the triangle there. But we'll have to look into that further. And then some other options that we need to look at are, do we need to stop control the circle itself, where we leave the stop sign at Smilax, but possibly reorient it, move it back a little bit before you enter the area, and possibly a stop sign heading, from Narcissus towards Royal Palms before you enter the circle as well. The quickest movements that you see are really coming from Narcissus towards Royal Palms, and so we have to be cautious of that. Make sure that everybody is approaching the circle with the same amount of caution. I think that is everything that I have on my mind with this. Oh, I did want to mention, I sent this concept plan out to several neighbors. Well, I sent it to 2 neighbors, and those neighbors sent it to several of their neighbors. Marcy was helpful in getting it out to the folks that are right near the intersection. And then I had several folks look at it along Smilax as well, further down. Largely positive or open-minded reactions. There were, obviously some concerns with driveways, with maneuverability, and just making sure that this is the best path forward for making sure that the intersection is safer and drivers are going slower. I did get a letter with some signatures from people on Smilax that was in support. I did see some emails that were favorable or open-minded and willing to discuss this further before we submit an application at the end of the month. Only had one that was an outright, maybe we should use this money for something different, but they, I don't think we're aware that it's not our money, except for the 5% match. So it's not like we could take that and add it or use it for a different street project. And then the final thing here is, again, the grant is for creative and innovative use of public space. So to change this plan in a way that creates a traditional intersection but doesn't do something inventive in it is not going to bode well for us. So like to remove the circle and just stop control the intersection, the criteria that we have to meet for this grant is not going to be favorable for us. And so the only thing we really need to figure out here is engineering of the traffic circle, which we'll do. We don't necessarily have to do that before we submit. So the exact diameter of that circle, the island, and the landscape plan for the park area.
Great. Well, thanks for getting that together.
In the little circle, it says about 140 square feet, so it's basically 12 by 12.
Oh, great. So, yeah.
It's going to be safer, prettier, and I see up there, all existing trees remain. Yeah.
There's some photo examples that
Yeah.
are in the folder as
No,
well.
that looks great.
I know I'm not Josh Tiller, so this is the best I could do with my
No, I was about to say thank you for
site
getting that
plan
together.
review software,
Yeah.
trying to create shapes and stuff. There's an example of, sorry, Marcy, I didn't mean to cut you off. There's an example of just a neighborhood traffic circle. I think this is actually a 4-way intersection. Typically, they're used in the center of a 4-way intersection. That one's probably about the same size as what we're proposing. And it's just, again, that visual obstruction. Let people know they need to be cautious as they proceed through.
You said traffic calming measure, so.
Correct.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. We got public comment coming up. Yeah,
I can speak to it at the end of the comment.
that's what I'm saying. We'll just do it at public comment. That's all right. But no, thank you for putting that together. Up next, 10-2025. Oh, wait, hold up. We got to vote. This is a resolution. All right. Well, if we're voting on it, then I kind of want to hear from.
I do,
so-
yeah, I don't want to take a
Yeah,
vote
exactly.
without
So
hearing from the
If you'd like to
people
talk
that-
to this issue, then yeah, go ahead, please. If we're voting on it. Yes, please. And this is a resolution to submit the grant application. Correct.
Yes. Linnell Fabian, 1809 Narcissus Lane. We're in the open-minded group that Noah just mentioned. First of all, Noah, I want to thank you for being very responsive and just super quick getting answers to our questions. And we appreciate picking our neighborhood to use this grant money because something does need to be done. Narcissus is a raceway from people trying to avoid Rebo Road to get to areas in the Mossy Oaks neighborhood. So we're grateful. We are kind of ground zero. We are one of those driveways that are adjacent to the proposed traffic circle. And we just have more questions of safety. How do I back out of the driveway into a traffic circle? I'd rather back into my driveway at the beginning and then pull out into traffic. And so, and Noah has agreed to meet with us, and we want to be part of this and give feedback and be helpful. So we're not here to say no, 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 no. We just want to be included in the process.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Lynette.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I've talked to a lot of the neighbors, and again, it's the backing out of the driveways, because there's gonna
I
be
understand,
4 driveways going towards the traffic circle, so there's some concerns. The other concerns that the people had is what happens like a year later? Is the garden gonna be watered and kept up by the city, or how does that work? And we'll talk about it.
Hopefully not the city, maybe the town?
Yeah.
Yeah, City of Beaufort might not want to have anything to do with that.
So, well, thank you very much, very noted. I mean, let's see if we get the grant. So we get the grant, we get the money, and then we bring all the stakeholders in and work that through. I think if I heard Noah correctly, that plan is not, that's still, that's not in stone. That, like you said, we still got to get engineering and do it all. So I think we absolutely have you guys involved in the process if we get it. So, all right. So appreciate y'all for talking, because I understand, especially if you're right there where it's going to be happening at. So, yeah. So again, like I said, I think, let's see if we get it. And then if we do, bring in everybody that lives around there and see if we can get the best for it. Because you are right. It is that intersection, something's got to happen there. So, okay. All right. Well, with that, I'll entertain a motion, resolution 9-2025.
So moved.
Second.
Any further?
Yeah, I just want to ensure that we do listen to the folks in that area that are impacted, that have raised concerns, and we bring them to the table and we make decisions based on, their input and the safety of our residents and for the good of the area. I just want to make sure we do
And
that.
that is a concern. I mean, right now they're backing into that intersection, which is pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this is an effort to
Slow down traffic.
slow down traffic.
But we appreciate the fact that people that live in that area are coming forward with concerns, because a lot of times we don't have that. People don't come and say, they just want to complain about it afterwards. Being a part of the solution is what we want.
And to know that you're
Thank
not
you.
left out.
Yes.
It is a big help being involved from the beginning, so thank you. All right, with that being said, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Up next, Resolution 10-2025, a resolution for the Marsh View Park Improvement Project.
Just real quickly, this is obviously the CDBG we're submitting to help construct the park that we have the citizen group organized at Sands Beach Road. And this is a formalization of our commitment to provide the $60,000 match for that grant.
Okay. When do we usually, do these grants, do they indicate when they make decisions? Is it is it by the end of the year?
Yeah, I mean, it's typically not too long.
Okay.
The Department of Commerce typically works pretty quickly.
Okay. All right. Well, I know everyone's very excited about Marsh View Park, and so with that being said, I entertain a motion that we approve the resolution to put in an application for a grant for the resolution for the Marsh View Park Improvements Project.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, up next, council action, approval of the CDBG Casablanca Sewer Project.
And I think we've got some clarity from last week to this week on this one. And what, the issue that we have with this particular project is most grants work where the municipality or the applying entity is giving 20 or 30% match, and the grant funds 70 to 80% of the project. Well, the Department of Commerce set aside $720,000, but the project is $3.4 million. So financially, it makes no sense. We don't have that money.
Yeah.
And one of the questions that we asked of Commerce was, could we then reduce the scope and have it focused on connecting some of the existing homes? And they said, no. So it's an all or nothing on this particular grant. But in order to proceed with the Marshview Park improvement, we need to put this one to bed. So I know it says approval, but I am recommending that we not move forward with an all-in taking of the 720, committing to a $3.4 million project. We have the ability in the next funding cycle to come back with that reduced scope for the CDBG for the connectivity of Casablanca. But in order to move forward with Marshview, we need to take this one officially off the table.
Off the table.
So I would need a motion to withdraw our application for the Casablanca sewer project.
Okay, so I need to change this wording?
Yeah.
Okay. And that makes sense. I mean, like you said, that's here's, like you said, most of those grants are usually, here's a match, but this is 720,000 and the projects came back at 3 million.
And as I understand Jerry pointed out last week, we do not own this system.
No.
And, and I think, I don't think the community would be upset either, because there have been some reservations in regards to, of the concerns about the sewer coming in there and their connectivity and so forth, so I don't think that they will be disappointed that this is delayed.
Yeah. Well, it's just, we want to work on all of the neighborhoods, including Casablanca. We'll continue to do that and look for opportunities. It's just, unfortunately, this one's just not gonna work, so. With that being said, I'll entertain a motion that we withdraw our CDBG Casablanca sewer project grant.
So moved.
Okay. Any other discussion?
No.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. And speaking of sewer, approval of the MOA with BJWSA.
You recall, we sold our system back in 2003 to Buford Jasper. And one of the things that we did was we had a certain amount of capacity set aside, basically some credits in the system. And every time we would do a CDBG grant, we would accumulate additional water and sewer capacity credits. Well, we pretty much exhausted that reserve. And one of the things that Buford Jasper is requesting through this memorandum of agreement is kind of a formalization of the capital improvement program for all the entities involved. And it gives them certainty in budgeting, and it gives us certainty in understanding what we would have that we would want to dedicate towards capital improvements within our system, within the town. And so this is a 5-year kind of capital improvement program totaling $1.3 million. So over the next 5 years, we have the ability to designate that 1.3 for sewer or water projects within the town, working with Buford Jasper.
And the way I understand it is we submit a project to them,
Right.
and that pulls down from that.
Or like if we were to revisit an area and want to do sewer, we could draw from this fund to provide our match.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, is it, if we don't spend, because I'm guessing it's 300,000 a year for 5 years?
If we don't spend the 1.3 in 5 years, I don't know that we can roll.
I was about to say,
it over.
wait, we don't spend the 300 in the first year, does it?
No. It's just, we could decide to spend all.
Okay, all right, that's good. I didn't know if it was,
Yeah.
blocked out for here's
Right.
300 a year, and if you don't spend it that year, you lose it or not. But it's 1.5 million over 5 years. I gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, we'll definitely find some good use for that. With that being said, I'll entertain a motion that we approve the MOA with BJWSA.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
No, I'll just reiterate what Van brought up. BJWSA owns the system.
Correct.
We are their customers, yes.
Correct. I just want to make sure we all understand that. So, no, that's all I've got. Just
Okay. Absolutely. All right. Hearing that, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay. All right. Up next, important dates. You want to do that?
Yeah, I'm doing 9/11 ceremony at Henry C. Chambers Park at
Tomorrow.
8. It's at 8 p.m.? Okay. Saturday, September 13th, the 2025 Walk for Water at Live Oak Park at 9 a.m. Thursday, September 18th, Historic Port Royal Foundation, third Thursday at Live Oak from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Saturday, September 20th, street music on Paris Avenue, Lady Couch at 6 p.m. Monday, September 22nd, Planning Commission meeting at 5 p.m. And then Saturday, September 27th, the 11th annual October Fest party, Port Royal style, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And anything else you guys want to add to the calendar?
I don't have any other dates, I don't think. Anybody else?
no, sir.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah,
September 11th is First Responder Day out at the OpFob in Ridgeland. Your police departments, fire department, those folks are going to be competing at Battle of the Badges, which will be pretty awesome. It's a 2-mile course they're running, kind of competing for time against each other. They'll kind of award
Obstacles
a
or
winner.
just running?
No, it's an obstacle. They got
Obstacle course, okay.
shooting drills and all
Oh,
that
okay.
stuff throughout the fob.
Not shooting each other.
Was that?
Not shooting each other.
No.
Paint gun.
No. No, I think they put up with that enough on a daily basis, so they try to shoot it at non-inanimate things at that point. And then a lot for, Colonel Leitzel stepped out, so I was gonna, brag on him a little bit about the Air Force birthday, September 18th. There you are, sir. All right, yeah, I had it in my notes to do it, you beat me to it, but you'll be proud, and I'll report to you, and even prouder. Graduate of the Air Force Senior NCO Academy. And I really credit that graduation, that certification, to my selection as Sergeant Major in the Marine Corps, just coming from a different kind of arm of the military. They made me learn your fight song. They tied me down, they made me do it. Then they made me stand in formation in my dress uniform when they were all in utilities, so I think there was a little hazing going on, but I'm good for it. So, yeah, if you do have Air Force friends, family, veterans anywhere, wish them a happy birthday. We couldn't do it without our Air Force, as we saw in the last month or so, 2 months. Just kind of how we project strength around the world, and we got to really be proud of that stuff. So thank you for your service, sir, and happy birthday next Thursday.
My son's in the Air Force Reserve.
All right, any other dates to add?
No, sir.
Okay, Sam, we got public comment. I do not have any public comment cards. All right, yes, sir, in the back, he's got it. Yeah, come on forward, yes, sir.
Hey everyone, my name is William Marks, and I just moved to Port Royal with my wife and daughter to 1003 10th Street. I was happy to hear, so I just came in to ask a question about Safe Harbor, so I was pleased to get an update. The last thing I was hoping you could maybe shed a little bit more light on is, did they provide any information about when the marina portion of the development is going to start being active, and when will it be open to the public?
So I can tell you that the marina development, I can tell you this. So they've got a permit in their hand. They've had it for over a year. I think it's a 5-year permit. So they plan, and according to them, sometime next year they will start their marina. They have not said whether they are building out the whole thing or if it's build 60%, fill it up, then build the next.
Okay.
But I expect to see some sort of building to start on that next year, according to their words. So,
Okay.
Again, it's just master plan by the end of this year, and you'll start seeing, I think, work being done next year on it. Now, again, they haven't indicated, I'm learning these things when you talk to them. I didn't know that about marinas. They go, yeah, you don't, with marinas, build it out, because it's got 5 sections. They're like, we'll probably build 3, test out the demand in the area, fill those up, and then do the next 2. But you will start to see that, I believe, next year sometime, of course.
Okay.
And again, at the end of the day, I mean, I don't want to say 5 years to say it like that, but they have a permit in hand that has a time limit on it. It's not, indefinite. So they've got to get started somewhat soon,
Okay. Is there a time limit when they have to start the first part of the development?
There's not.
Okay.
There's not.
Is there, I've got some specific questions about what exactly they're building, like what kind of boats they can accommodate. Is there a point of contact there that the public can get a hold of to?
Yeah, we can get you that. And also, too, I mean, I can find you, we get your contact information there, I'll send you them. I can send you the marina design. It's out there, so you can see it.
If it's the one that's out there, I have seen that one. There's some more specifics I was hoping to
Okay.
to ask them.
Well, then, I'll just get in touch, and we'll chat about that.
All right, that's great.
okay.
Thank you very
Yes, sir,
much.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Welcome to the town.
Yeah, absolutely. Where'd you move from?
We've been sailing internationally for the last few years. and
There you go.
We're charmed by Beaufort, so here we are.
Beaufort or Port Royal? There you go. Cool, well, pleasure to have you, man. Absolutely. Okay. That's public comments. I got the card in. We'll switch over now. Council comments. Start to my left.
No, good meeting, thank you. Nothing from me.
Councilman Owens.
Thank you all.
Oh,
Councilman Guerrero.
thanks, everybody. Great seeing everyone.
Same here. Thanks for coming, voicing opinions.
And I'll say, again, just to reiterate that, thank you all for being here. I love local politics. I love this community. I would be remiss. I did just want to take a minute and say, if you love local politics, you love local news, and you love the community, we had there was an unfortunate accident. Mr. Jeff Evans, the owner and operator, publisher for the Island News, tragically and unexpectedly passed away. That paper is one of the only local papers. It's where you go to get the high school sports. You read in that, and it's all Beaufort, Port Royal, north of the Broad. It's a really important publication. He was someone that really cared about local politics and doing that and making sure that local news is still getting out there, because in the world that we live in, that's less and less and less and less. More and more of our news is national, and people aren't paying attention to what's going on down the street from them, which I think is very important. So thank you all for being here. So I did just want to just kind of give that shout out to his family and everyone over there at the Island News. And I know they're going through a lot right now. Again, it was very unexpected. And so hopefully they're, just keep going strong, make Jeff proud, and keep putting out local news, because it's very important that we keep doing that and paying attention to what's happening around us, because we have a lot of good things happening around of us. We can get caught up. We live in a crazy world, and national news and all kinds of stuff going on, but when you look around Port Royal and you drive around Port Royal and you spend time at a festival here, this is a beautiful community with people that know each other, spend time with each other. I'm very proud of that. And I'm very blessed and lucky to be here and serve here. So just wanted to say that and keep them in your hearts and prayers. And again, thank y'all for being here. Didn't want to end it on like a sad note, but end it on a happy note. We're onward and upward. And so, anything else? All right. With all that, I'll entertain a motion. We adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in